Hi, I'm Reverend Pam Geagan. Welcome this auspicious Sunday to the Center for Spiritual Living, Pleasant Valley in Camarillo, California. And it's an interesting Sunday because we live in interesting times. Due to the coronavirus, this is an empty stadium right now. Empty stadium, I wish. Empty sanctuary right now. And we asked everyone to stay home following the CDC and CSL guidelines. We are wanting to ensure that everyone remains well. There is no one in our congregation that has presented any signs or symptoms and there's no one that's been tested positive for the coronavirus, but we're just ensuring it. So I just want to briefly tell you who we are. We are, our larger vision is awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and we believe we do this by teaching and demonstrating spiritual principles for living an abundant and fulfilling life in a welcoming and compassionate community. So with me today, not only with a minimal skeleton crew, we're going to be bringing up Buzz Noe. I want to mention our candles of faith. We believe that there are many sources. All religions have that one fine thread through it, and I call that love. And the one thing we always do right is love. So all those candles, what they represent is all the major world's religions. One source, many paths to that source, and we honor all those paths. So in knowing that we're working all together, our wonderful Reverend Betty Ann, who I asked to stay home this morning, does a quote, and that is kind of out of order, but she does a quote, and I want to read it to you. And hopefully you'll be able to take it home with you too in your heart and your mind. And it is, I affirm that my world's consciousness is positive and creative. I allow the healing power of spirit to wash over me and reveal my wholeness. And so it is. And so I want to take all of those great words, and just take them from the highest and high and from the deepest of deep. And in these times, take them into meditation and prayer. And as the music softens, know with me, as I stay in the I am, personalize these words. There is only one power, one presence, one beingness. I call that God. And so when things are challenging, I see beyond the challenge. I lift my consciousness up, knowing that there is a divine right patterning happening right here in me and all that is recreating, rebirthing that world that works for everyone. So my job is to be in the allowing. I listen to all the higher people who know about the medical sciences and listen to how we can protect ourselves. And then I go to that place of knowing. And that place of knowing literally is that place of faith and where there's no fear that is allowed. So knowing that on this eternal path of becoming, I'm making the conscious decision to rise above. We rise up, we always have, we always will. And our mother is in divine right order, our bodies are in divine right order, and all of our lives are in divine right outer order. And I let this go, and I call today good and very good. And together we say out there, and so it is. And so it is. I'm going to play a song, and I just want to tell you a little bit about this. In my original talk, it was going to be the talk of the birth of a new consciousness, which I believe our mother is already pushing. This song was originally played under the Volvo commercial. It still is. It is the largest streaming song, second largest streaming song ever on Spotify, and it's called Lean On. And what it's all about is the environment recreating itself. So enjoy.
will we do when we get old? Will we walk down the same road? Will you be there by my side, standing strong as the waves roll over? When the nights are long, longing for you to come home. All around, the wind blows, we would only hold on to let go. Love is fire gun, we would need someone to lean on. Love is fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on. Love is fire gun, we would need someone to lean on. Love is fire gun, all we need is somebody to lean on. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. All we need is somebody to lean on. Whoa, oh, oh, oh.
And the reason that I forgot to mention this, the reason is that Volvo used this song. They changed one line specifically for it, but they used it because by 2025 they are committed to having every automobile model that they have turned into electric, so there's a less carbon footprint in the world. And so I thought, wow, that's pretty powerful. Now I am so excited to introduce What's the Buzz? Did it stop?
No, we're fine.
Oh. What's the buzz?
Right.
Tell us what's happening. What's the buzz?
What's the buzz?
Tell us what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell us what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell us what's happening. What's the buzz? Here,
What's
thank you.
happening?
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Buzz, and here's what's happening for today on Sunday, March 15th, the middle of the month of March. And a couple of notes that I wanted to start with. One is simply that we all know that the virus thing is out and about, but your divine perfection is never in doubt. Most of the precautions are common sense. Cleanliness and caution are your best defense. So, as a result of that, Monday Mindfulness is taking a break. Out of concern for your health's sake, meditation and discussion group are both called off. So please stay at home and nurse that cough. But Writers Group will meet right here from 7 to 9 with no virus fear. The Goldsmith Group is also not meeting. Let's note that this virus thing is fleeting. So this Thursday, instead of gathering at 10, you can stay at home and practice your Zen. And we continue to manifest our nonviolent attitude until April 4th as an expression of gratitude to Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King, for nonviolence was their major thing. So far, next Sunday, right after lesson, Lisa Coffey will be here for another session on a book that Vedanta considers quite vital, though none of us can ever pronounce its title. And the last Sunday of the month, Swami S. will be here to help us go forward in life without fear, on the bhakti path of love and devotion that keeps us moving in a forward motion. And on Tuesday, we will celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but please keep the celebration safe, okay? Be careful if you're in a public place. Wash your hands and cover your face. So, that's it for the announcements today. Please know that your good health is here to stay.
Yay! You have fans. You have 3
Hey!
fans here. Yay!
Well, my fans are showing their appreciation. Thank you very
And
much.
out there too, once we post this.
So here we are.
And it's interesting because I forgot it's the Ides of March today too.
Oh, it is?
Yes,
Ides
and
of
so
March.
it's fitting.
So if your name is Caesar, be really careful.
Yes, exactly.
Otherwise, I'm sure you'll get the point.
Yeah, no, I'm
Had to throw that in there.
Yeah. Well, there, I do have a joke. I have a coronavirus joke.
a joke.
What's a coronatini?
Well, how about it must be a real tiny Corona.
It could be. It's a martini you fix at home alone to ensure social distancing.
Ah, there you go.
Mom.
Enjoy that martini by yourself at home.
So go ahead. I want to start just with one quote from Maya Angelou, and I thought this is so interesting. The need for change bulldozed a road down the center of my mind. And that's what's happening to all of us right now. And I want to know what you think spiritually, personally, and how it's affecting you about the coronavirus.
Well, that's a good question, and right now I'm going to make myself look younger. Here's the way I'm looking at it. There are physical things in this universe and on this planet. And despite our spiritual mindset and our connection with Spirit and with God, there are still things that we have to do physically. You have to walk down the path, you have to drive the car down the road, things like that. A lot of this aspect of the virus thing is physical. Washing your hands, making sure you wash your hands before you touch your face, staying clear from public places until we know there's a little bit less. These are things that we have to physically do in precaution for the coronas. What we need to do spiritually, I feel, is that you need to have the mindset that these things you are doing, these actions you are taking, are bringing forth your divine perfection. You have to know that you can go forward once you have washed your hands. Once you touch your face a little bit less, unless you've washed your hands, just know that that is working and that you are clear of the virus. Because two things are involved. One, the physical one, like I just mentioned. The other, the mindset. If you are keeping in your mind that you are showing and demonstrating your divine perfection, that's going to go forth as long as you take the precautions that keep that going. And so that's the way I'm taking this forward. I just know that if I keep myself clear of anyone who's coughing, sneezing, things like that, and wash my hands, that I'm going to stay in perfect health. And so far, it's working.
You know, and to affirm all of that, Ernest Holmes, our founder, in 1918, when the last huge flu came through, where there was no cure at all at that time, or none of the health officials were in place, all of the people around him and his congregation, not one of them got ill. And what we now know is the studies on the mind is actually when we are fearful, the cortisone level goes up in your mind, you lose all your immunities just about, fear floods you, and then that's when you find out what's happening now, where all the stores here are totally empty just about, especially from toilet paper and sanitized wipes and everything else. It's almost like they're seeing an Armageddon happening here. And actually, it's not an Armageddon. We are, here, I'll get closer to you too. We're buds. We're farther than far. We're closer than 5 feet apart where we're supposed to be. But I just want you all to know we parelled up before we sat here and we cleaned our chairs and everything else. But it is not as, how do I say it? I think that we're doing everything we can to not get that curve where we won't even have health officials available. We are taking all the precautions to leave the curve flat so there's enough healthcare, enough of individuals out there who are available to take care of those that need assistance right away. So I think that our mind truly changes, our thoughts change our life, and every minute we spend in fear is a moment taken away from that faith and knowing that God is, I am, and all is well.
Well, it's very valid, and as like Pam just said, not only is that spiritual aspect, but there's a physical change in your body as well. When you've got that positive thought, things are working better in your cellular structure and keeping you physically healthy. If you walk around with that fear and that concern, oh, I'm sitting next to this person, oh, what could happen? That's going to stop that cellular flow and make you more vulnerable to contracting any of the viral things that are going around. So stay positive has been always the science of mind thought, and you can see that it not only keeps you in that way spiritually, but also can physically manifest you to be healthier as well. And that's the way to go forward.
And on a larger vision, on a greater vision, our Mother Earth is now taking control, so to speak, not control, but in consciousness, maybe some of you have missed this, but worldwide there has the appearance of a lot of conflict. And we know that every thought is powerful. And so those thoughts have now filtered down throughout the body of our mother, the body of us, and it's out picturing in our world. And we have done more since I've been alive to change the patterning here to get rid of this virus. It's not only changing the pattern of how we're living our lives, but just think about this. In California alone, hardly anybody's driving. That means emissions are down. And I think worldwide, when you are sequestered, driving is less. No one's working at the factories as much worldwide. And so all of the carbon monoxide is also being lowered. So there is something greater happening here, and maybe an inconvenient thing for us or a new way of being, but maybe it's an awakening for us to change how we do our normal, everyday, day-to-day business.
Well, it's a good point, and Pam just referenced, and here's one thing to always keep in mind. Things happen in the universe, in the world. You can always have that choice of, this just happened. Is this a curse coming against me, or is this a blessing from God that will move me forward? Well, that's one way to look at this whole coronavirus and the COVID-19 outbreak. Yes, it's certainly a tragedy in certain circumstances, but where is the blessing? What can we gain from this? How can this be something from God that is moving us forward? And like Pam just mentioned, there's several things involved. One of them is that I'm sure you've noticed in the media and everything else, it is actually bringing the world more together. We are more in a position of compromising and working together to help discover where this virus is coming from, how we can manifest precautions against it nationally, internationally, worldwide. And anytime something like that happens that brings our minds together on this planet Earth, then it is, to that degree, a blessing. It is bringing us together, and for that reason alone, we can, I don't want to say celebrate the corona, but see where it is actually presenting a bit of a blessing from God to us as a species, as a human race. And this is happening right now. So always look for that aspect of something that's going on rather than, oh, this is the worst thing that ever happened and stuff like that, because once again, that mindset is going to be what's creating life as it develops from here on out. So keep that in mind.
And you know, you said something so interesting, we live on one planet, one beautiful blue island from sky. There are no boundaries from space, unless you're a flat earther. And then there is no round planet. But this beautiful marble, this beautiful, beautiful planet has no boundaries. We breathe the same air, we drink the same water, and our thoughts are just as powerful as the cleanliness of our water, and they are the things that keep us clean, keep us breathing that air, and knowing that God is I am. And so our mother actually is protecting herself, I think, right now too. And when you think about it, there have been other panics that we've had here that affected me personally in this moment more than this one is, and I'm not discounting it, but when an earthquake comes, for example, lots of times you lose everything. And right now, we are ahead of the curve. We are taking these precautions to make sure that we are safe and we are well.
That's a good point, Reverend Pam. And as Pam just mentioned, the earthquake, and a big one happened here back in '94, and we were in that same situation right there. Whoa, look at all this mess and everything else. But then I took that different mindset. I said, wow, this is opening up a new beginning. Something new is now given to us, a new path to go forward, because a lot of the old paths have changed. And the same thing is going on with this coronavirus. It's going to open up a new pathway for us to move forward as a species and as a race here on the planet. And for that reason alone, it is eventually going to assist us in who we are and what we're doing, rather than holding us back.
Thank you so much. I would like to, we're trying to make this a little shorter this morning, not because we don't want to be with you, but there's lots of reasons. But anyway, I would like to end with one of my favorite songs by Daniel Nahmod, planting seeds, because it's your job now to take the information that is being given to you and plant it in that subconscious soil that just says yes, and watch a new way of being on this planet that protects the environment, protects your families, protects and gets in touch with who you are, the divine within. And so I invite you to enjoy this as we close. And I'd also like to say, you know, we're not meeting this week, but we love your donations. Because of your donations, we exist. So thank you so much for being with us. God is, I am.
And I just want to mention that, as we've said, there are precautions that you should be taking. You can find them online. A lot of them are common sense. As you take those precautions, just keep that mindset that you are revealing your divine perfection at all times. And that will bring you forward. So thank you, and God bless.
God, yes, I love each and every one of you. God is the energy and the power. So it is. Enjoy Daniel.
I spent a long time running, I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then, and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around.
Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar.